Good morning, students. So, today we are starting a topic in animal tissue known as muscular tissue. So, muscular tissue, as you know, that all of the muscles present in our body are made up of muscular tissue, or they are called as muscular tissue. So, let us see how or which kind of cells are present, or what is the structure of this muscular tissue, and which are different kinds of muscular tissue. So let's start this topic. So the cells of muscular tissue are generally elongated like this. They are elongated cells, also called as muscle fibers, and this is, all of you know that they are responsible for movement in our body or movement of our body. Every movement in our body is done by this muscular tissue, or without muscular tissue our body can't move. So how does this movement occur? We know that it occurs from contraction and relaxation. These muscles contract and relax, which cause the movement. So this contraction and relaxation are done by special proteins. It is done by special proteins called as contractile proteins, which are also called as myotomes, but for now you don't have to remember this name myotomes because it is not given in your textbook. You just call it contractile proteins, which are responsible for contraction and relaxations of muscles, which eventually cause the movement in our body. Now there is a different kinds of muscle fibers on the basis of, first let's see that there are some kinds of muscles in our body which we can move by our conscious will. What does this mean? We can move them by our will. We can move them when we want them to move, like muscles of our limbs, forelimbs or hind limbs. Limbs means appendages, your hands or legs. Forelimbs means hands and hind limbs means legs. So the muscles of our hands and legs, we can move them when we want them to move. We can walk when we want to walk. We can move our hand when we want them to move. So these muscles move from our conscious will, or we can say that they move voluntarily. When we want them to move, they move. So these muscles are move voluntarily or by our will. That's why they are called as voluntary muscles. They are called as voluntary muscles. Every muscles which can move by our will. When we want them to move, we can move them. Also we can stop them from moving. So these muscles which move on our will are called as voluntary muscles. As they are mostly attached with our skeletal system, if you are talking about our hands, legs, there are bones present in our hands and legs. These muscles are mostly attached to these bones. Why? Tendons, which we have studied in connective tissue, that muscles are connected to bone with connective tissue called as tendons. So these muscles are mostly attached with skeletal system or skeletal. These are also called as skeletal muscles. So there are now two names of same kinds of muscles, voluntary muscles and skeletal muscles. Now there is also another name for these muscles. It is, if you see it under a microscope, there is a figure also given in your textbook. If you see figure 6.11, in which a figure of muscle is shown. So you can see, if you observe a muscle under a microscope, you will see that there are these stripes on that. These which I am drawing are stripes, or you can say strata, bands. These are light bands and dark bands. These are dark bands and space between them is light bands. So skeletal muscles or voluntary muscles, they show this kind of structure under microscope. This is nucleus. So cells or tissue of this voluntary muscles show this kind of strip structure. So they are also known as striated muscles, as strata are these present on these muscles. That is light band, dark band, light band, dark band. These strata are present on these muscles when you observe them under microscope. So they are also called as striated muscles. So apart from these striations, there are other characteristic of these striated muscles or voluntary muscles or skeletal muscles. These all three names are of same kind of muscles, different names for same muscles. The cells of these are elongated or cylindrical. The cells of these striated muscles are long, cylindrical, or you can say tissue. Tissue is long, cylindrical, unbranched. Unbranched means you can see there is no branch here, like branch like this, but there is no branch. So they are unbranched. They are generally multinucleated. Multinucleated means more than one nucleus. They are generally having more than one nucleus. So this is the specification of skeletal muscles, that they are unbranched, they are cylindrical, they are multinucleated, and they are present in limbs, that is forelimbs, hind limbs, generally on the skeletal system. They are generally attached to the skeletal system. Now another kind of muscle tissue, you see that the movement of alimentary canal. Alimentary canal means our digestive tract. When you ingest food, you just engulf this food via mouth, which goes into esophagus. But after that, you are not doing anything to make this food go through your esophagus into stomach, then into intestine. It goes on itself. So how does this occurs? It occurs due to the movement of this alimentary canal. When a particle of food, if this is your digestive canal, a particle of food is here, the muscles below this gets relaxed and these muscles get contract. So this food particle will come here. Now this will contract and again the further one will relax. So this movement is responsible for transportation of food in your digestive system. But this movement of muscle, you cannot control them. You cannot control them. It is involuntary. The skeletal muscle was voluntary muscles. You can move them when you want them to move. But this alimentary canal or muscles present in alimentary canal or muscles present in blood vessels, you cannot actually control the movement of muscles present in blood vessels or alimentary canal. So these are called as involuntary muscles, or this movement are involuntary movements. It is not in control of ourselves. They are also found in iris of eyes. In your eyes there are 6 to 8 different kinds of muscles present in your iris, which are not in our control. They move on their own will. Also in uterus, in female, in uterus, and also in bronchi, which is related to respiration in our body. So these are all involuntary movements or involuntary muscles. They are generally spindle shaped. They are generally uninucleate, which means they have only single nucleus per cell. They are also called as unstriated muscles, because if you see the figure given in your textbook, you will see that there are no striations present in them. This kind of figure is given in your textbook. So they are generally uninucleated without any striations. You don't see here any kind of dark or light bands, and you see these are spindle shaped or spindles in shape. So they are called as unstriated muscles or smooth muscles, or involuntary muscles. So here also there are 3 names. Unstriated, the first one which we have studied were striated. They were skeletal muscles. These are smooth muscles. They were voluntary muscles. These are involuntary muscles. So you see there are totally opposite 2 kinds of muscles present in our body. Now the last kind of muscles which are present in our body are cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscles are exceptionally present in heart. Exceptionally means they are only present in heart. They can't be found anywhere else in our body. So they are present in heart only. They are responsible for a cardiac rhythm. Your heart beats in a rhythmic form. You can't stop them, and it have a specific rhythm. So this rhythm is done by the contraction and relaxation of these cardiac muscles throughout our life. You can't even stop them for once. So these are called as cardiac muscles. They are also involuntary. It's not in our control to stop them or to contract or relax them. They are generally cylindrical. They are generally uninucleate, means having only single nucleus per cell. They are generally branched. The muscles which we have seen before, they were not branched, but these cardiac muscles are branched in nature. So these were 3 kinds of different muscles found in our body. Now the last kind of tissue, which is nervous tissue in animal tissue. Now we know that all these cells present in our body have capability to respond to a certain stimuli. Stimuli means anything which is coming from outside to a cell, any response or any activity done on a cell which is known as stimuli, this cell will respond. The cell will respond to any kind of stimuli. All cells present in our body have this ability. But cells of nervous tissue, which we are studying, cells of nervous tissue are highly specified, highly specialized for being stimulated and then transmitting the stimulus very rapidly from one place to another. If you touch here, you get the message in your brain, or you feel that someone touched there in a very fraction of time, in a very thousandth fraction of a second, you know that someone touched you. This transmission of message, first of all, they stimulated, then they transmit very rapidly from one part to other part. This activity is done by the nervous tissue which is present in our body. Now what is the or which are the organs made up of nervous tissue? So let's see. Brain, most important organ in our body. Brain, it is also made up of nervous tissue. Spinal cord, which runs through your vertebral column on your back side, it is also made up of nervous tissue. And nerve cells. Brain, spinal cord and nerve cells all are made up of nervous tissue. The cells which make this nervous tissue are generally called as neuron or nerve cells. Cells which make up this nervous tissue are generally called as neuron or nerve cells. Let us see the structure of neuron. I am drawing the structure of nervous tissue. This is the nervous tissue. Or you can say a neuron of nervous tissue or nerve cell. So here there is a cell body. This is the cell body in which nucleus is present. So this is nucleus. From cell body arises many these hair-like projections which are called as dendrites, which receives the message from the neuron which is present above this. So these are thin hair-like parts arise from this cell body. Now each neuron has this single cylindrical long projection which is called as axon, and many these short branched are called as dendrites, and single this is known as axon. This is the nerve end. The message comes from the other neuron from these dendrites. It passes through this axon, and through this nerve end this message pass to this another neuron. So this is how nervous system works. Now this individual neuron, this is the single neuron cell or single nerve cell. Now it can be sometimes several meters long. Yes, several meters long. Even our height is up to 1.5 meter sometimes. But these nerve cells, they have very high length, sometimes meters long. So these many kinds of neurons, they bound with each other with the help of connective tissue and make up a nerve. So this is the structure of a neuron. Now if any signal passes from our nerve cells, or you can say nerve fiber, so this signal which passes through the nerve cells is called as nerve impulse. It is called as nerve impulse. Now this nerve impulse allow us to move our muscles. We know that we have some kinds of voluntary muscles which can move when we want them to move. So this movement is done with the help of nerve impulse. The message passes from your brain in the form of this nerve impulse through nerve cells to your muscles present in your hands or in your legs which you want to move. So this message pass from brain to these muscles, then these muscles can move. So you see here there is a very specialized or highly specialized combination of nerves with muscles which allows us to respond immediately. If you put your hand on a hot vessel, you will immediately take up your hand like this. So this immediate response is done due to this combination of nerves and muscles. It is present in most of the animals, which allows them to move rapidly in response to a stimuli. So this is nervous tissue. Now our chapter tissue is finished by this topic. So you read whole the chapter, you draw the respective diagrams in your fair books and study it. If you have any doubt, ask me personally. Thank you, students.